Hello everyone, E here with the latest LEGO Hogwarts update. Like always, looking forward to all your comments on all the changes I'm about to show you in this video. Without further ado, let's get to it. I would like to start this update with something very exciting, namely the gargoyles that are positioned inside the dining area of the Great Hall. As you might know, if you've been following closely, we have the eagle, which was the first one that was finished, the Ravenclaw gargoyle, then we had the snake, the Slytherin gargoyle. Lately we had the badger, which was just recently finished, and now I am very proud to announce that we have the lion as well. I am really excited to see all these 4 gargoyles completed. About 6 months ago, or over 6 months ago, I would say, it has been 6 months for sure, when I talked to Zenith Productions about this project, about whether he is willing to spend some time and use his talents on creating these gargoyles in this specific scale. We discussed lengthily what I'm looking for, what exactly it should be, and what concessions could be made. I actually never really suspected that we could get this far and produce something this satisfying. Once again, this is mainly his talent and hard work. All I did was give some creative ideas here and there, most of which were too ridiculous to work. Some were, I would say, decent input. Most of my time spent was giving critiques and what should be improved and where we should be aiming our efforts. But this wouldn't have been possible without him, and I am forever thankful. And now I am very proud to present, well, first of all the 4 gargoyles together. It is exactly what we were aiming at. These gargoyles, as you can see, are pretty much all the same scale. They aren't really more than 3 studs deep. The height is pretty much the same, and we were trying to be as honest regarding the source material and what was available on the web from the actual studios, from the actual films, and we tried to just go for liberties wherever it was absolutely needed. I would say that this exceeds my expectations, and I think I'm about to place, other than this lion, I have made 2 more over here, and I'm going to place them in the Great Hall. Why 2 more? Because, as discussed before, we have 14 slots inside due to the fireplace and the chimney, and I decided the lion and the badger will have 3 copies instead of 4 because they're the most expensive ones to make, and they were actually the last 2 that were produced, so that made sense. So we have 4 snakes inside, 4 eagles, 3 badgers and 3 lions. And I am going to take the courtyard away and going to take apart this section here, the roof and the towers and the foyer, to get inside the Great Hall and place all these gargoyles back, namely the 3 lions together, and I will show you what I believe is pretty much the finished interior of the dining area in the Great Hall, which is a shot I've been dying to reach for the past months. I've been really excited to do it, so let's place these together and show you that angle. Well, we have finally arrived. You get to see the proper angle of the dining area in the Great Hall, with all its interior, all its minifigs, all the inner tiling, if you will, all the details, the candles, as you have seen, all the details on the far end behind the teacher's table, and all that detailing there, and of course the gargoyles, where we have all 4 animals, and you can really appreciate what they look like side by side. This is something that I've been waiting to show you for a very long time. If you have been following the whole series, you know that all these things were done with a lot of thought, a lot of effort, in order for them to work together, for everything to align. And I would say that the end result is quite satisfactory. Now obviously always we can add something to improve, but all in all, this is the way it should be. The tiling on the far end, I'm thinking of changing at some point. Maybe the minifigs will change here and there if I find that to be suiting as I'm filming this. All the tiling on the benches is not complete, but from this angle you can't really see that. That's why I'm doing it now. And also I'm thinking of maybe adding some chains that are connecting the gargoyles with the braziers down here, or maybe even increasing the size of the braziers from this 2x2 dish to something slightly bigger, maybe a 3x3. But all in all, that is it. I have changed the Professor Quirrell from the previous one to the new one from the latest set. It is slightly different with a browner suit and a bit more detailing. And also the Dumbledore, I was thinking of changing him, but I left this one because even though that the new one has hand printing, it doesn't have any printing on the hat, and the old one does. Maybe I would it would make sense to take the hands from the new one and add it to this one, but for the time being it's gonna remain this one from the old set, or rather from the old collector series. But yeah, this is the Great Hall. Tell me what you think. Tell me if you like this, if you feel that maybe that this is not good enough despite all my hard work. I am not one of those YouTubers that are so thin-skinned that they can't take criticism. If you don't like something, tell me that you don't like it and tell me why. You never know, you might just convince me that you're right. So now that I have placed all the gargoyles, I can close this once again and move to the next several upgrades that I am planning to do for this update. Here is the courtyard roof all placed, and I have already done some modifications, so let's cover them all. First up, these texture pieces that I mentioned even last time. I have placed them everywhere, or at least everywhere where I had the pieces to do that. Everywhere else I have left markers, and once I get all those pieces I will simply replace the markers and add the appropriate piece in its place. Next up, even though the courtyard is slightly different as for dimensions go compared to before, I managed to keep the same structure, namely this part here. 4 studs is actually embedded into the construction, which will not be removable. I mean, if you really want to remove it, you could. But then we have a L piece here, a piece over here that is straight, and then another L piece, and same thing, another straight piece and another L piece. So total of 6 pieces form the removable roof. One thing I did is I removed the back section because over here we're gonna keep this space for texture and add something like this. So I had to free that up. Before it was embedded into everything else to be more stable, so now I removed it. And before, that thing that I mentioned where we had 3 pieces of 2 pieces of brick and then 2 pieces of plate, and then these cheese slopes over here that I'm going to return. Obviously a cheese slope, if you don't know, is 2 plates tall, which means in order for the top of the cheese slope to reach over here, I had to do some modifications, and this way now we'll have basically 3 rows of brick, and then the cheese slope will reach again up to here. That is why I have raised over here by 1 additional plate, which you can see from here to over here the edge. That will cover that, and then we'll have this dimension here the same as it was before. And also you might notice there's another row of plate on the very bottom. That is to simply raise the roof a little bit, which is mainly because I want this over here to reach all the way up to this texture piece. If it is 1 plate below or 1 plate above, it will not work. It will indicate that over here it will hit, and then it will have too much space. So this way it's better, and actually it lets this texture breathe a little bit. Otherwise it was forced into this texture, and I didn't really like that. So it's kind of a 2 problems with 1 solution type of thing. One thing that I did here is raise it by a plate as well, so this cheese slope reaches up to here as it was before perfectly. So with that done, now comes the more difficult, should I say, or lengthy part, is to place all the texture, the first row of texture at least, so all the bricks with snots and damaged sections, which will take some creativity and time and shouldn't really be forced. And with that, actually, before I starting that, I will do what I mentioned before. This section here, I really don't like it. And in order to remove it once and for all, I will cut, and by cut I mean I will actually go into this pillar and remove this row of brick that is over here, the first row, the closest one, and I will leave enough space for this to slide in. So similar to how this wall slides underneath the column, this part here of the roof will also slide once the inside of the column, and this way we will have another 2x3 slope inside over here, and obviously over here as well. This will not be a 1x3, it will be a 2x3, and this will be removed. And yeah, digging into these columns will probably be not that hard because everything is so much modular now, not like before, but still it will take some fine tuning. So I'll actually start with that, and afterwards I will be doing all the texture around the square, which will take some time. I actually don't know how much time it will take me, so yeah, let's see how far I get. Let's do a little comparison. Now this is the back side here, and you can see the additional plate that I have added, and we have 1, 2, 3 bricks and then 1 tile. So before, without this plate, we had this. This is what it looked like before. 2 bricks, 2 plates, and the cheese slope. And obviously this plate here wasn't present, so this edge was aligning with this. But if we can't keep this because we need to have bricks in order to place the texture, so we can't have these plates here. I mean, we could, but then we'll have some space without texture, and I don't like that. So in order to do that, I raised this by 1 plate, because otherwise, let me see where it is. There it is. If we didn't have that plate, this would have been too high, and this would have been 1 plate lower. So by adding this plate here, now things align again perfectly, and we have 3 rows of brick. We'll have snots here, and we'll be able to place this texture. And boom, There we go. Perfect fit. It is a little bit of a hassle to align the bottom gap and the top gap, especially when you're not seeing much. One alternative would be to again split this, or simply to make the detachable portion from here, to cut it from here instead of from here, so two studs to the left, respectively to the right from the other side. But for the time being, I think it's fine. It's one little tweak that could be done at any time. So yeah, these ugly things are gone, and the overall angle of the courtyard is perfect. Even the dimensions are allowed to keep this little decoration here with the tan sloping as it should be on both sides. It's perfect. So yeah, with that out of the way, let's well, buckle up for a lot of texture building. Before going into the roof of the courtyard, I wanted to show you the benches in the interior, which is now completed. Placed all the benches, basically the positioning is the same, but now you can see all the well, finished corridors. We only are missing the minifigs, which I will likely place next time. I would say this looks pretty nice, tidy, and spacious. And here we go, courtyard roof finished. We have all these elements now all around the inner square, and I placed them in such a way that they would not interact with these pillars, because they are basically halfway through here, so this spacing is perfect. I also worked on adding the texture up here all around the outer side, and while I was doing that, I added the damaged sections, tried to do it with some variety and without really making it too prominent, not too many occurrences. Don't want this to be Hogwarts after World War II or something like that. I used the time to apply the first layer of texture as well. And also one thing that I'm experimenting with over here, I placed these pieces here that are for additional decoration. Not really sure I like them. I'm considering maybe swapping this with this, maybe having duplicates instead of two different ones, have only these or only these, or maybe not have all of them. But I feel like this additional texturing is a good decision, mainly because otherwise we leave these gaps here when there actually is no texture here because of the plates, and this kind of helps to transition these empty spaces. What I'm still thinking about is adding some additional detail just above the windows and underneath the roof, so on all these sections, but whether I'll be doing that, I still have not decided. Also, this brings the problem of these sections here, because this is a 1x2 and over here we have a 1x3, and the problem is, even if we place something here, it means that over here on this side there will still be no texture, and that's a problem. And I see that in other builds as well, where people just ignore that, and I don't like it. So for the time being I just left it blank. We'll see if I will hate that as well, or that's why over here I don't have these railings on this side. Planning to maybe just remove them, as this is the ideal way if we want to have them, because you can see them from one side and from the other side you don't see them, so it doesn't really stick. It's not really that noticeable to the eye. You have to really look closely. But I can't really say that I'm really satisfied with that variant either, so we'll see how I will keep some kind of texture in these spaces, and without it being so, well, unpleasant to the eye, or to my eye. And with that, actually the courtyard is well, ready. Now, obviously, we have the whole thing with the gatehouse, which will, I don't really know how long that will take. And we have the last layer of texture that needs to be applied to look like this over here, which is its own little thing that will take us a bit of time. And also the vegetation around the edges here that we had before. Need to decide exactly what to do. We'll probably not really use these pieces again. We'll probably try to do something a bit different. Now, as for next time, what will I be doing? I am not sure whether I will be starting on the gatehouse, as I don't really want to juggle in between. Maybe I will start doing some initial work on it, and then I will focus on these things they just mentioned, or I will go full scale into the gatehouse and see how far I get. Either way, it will probably be one of those two things. And with that, I believe that is all I have for you for today. Once again, thank you for watching. If you like this type of content, please subscribe to this channel and hit that like button and leave down a comment, as it really helps my channel to be out there. Really looking forward to your comments and suggestions. And once again, I will see you in the next 2 weeks for another Lego Hogwarts update. Thank you for watching, stay healthy, and bye for now.